Hello everyone and welcome. I'm Beastly Eel, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the latest episode of Gen V. So in this episode, it starts off right where the last one ended, which is, excuse me, um, Marie and Kate had left. However, Annabeth has a nightmare about Marie being in a puddle of blood. She wakes up freaking out, wakes everyone up, and then they try to figure out where Marie is. Obviously, they figured it out because she's not there. She must have gone back to the school. Jordan is the first one to figure out at least where she is, just because he kind of put they kind of put two and two together, right? So the idea is they're going to have Jordan driving Edgar's car with Annabeth with him, and then Sam was going to be jumping, super jumping, I should say, over to the school with Emma in his pocket. And so that's kind of where that goes, right? So while they're dealing with that, we have Marie and Kate and Polaris. So Polaris is having an issue. Marie goes over and heals him. He's feeling better than he's ever felt. He feels like he doesn't even have the tremors anymore. So he's feeling at his 100% best, right? So he tries to convince Marie to fix Kate, and she refuses because she doesn't trust Kate. She can't trust Kate because she's manipulated them so many times. So they then begin to look for Cypher. They finally go to Cypher's office where they're looking around, and obviously he's not there. So all of a sudden they get a phone call, and it is Cypher himself on the phone. So he's basically explaining his whole spiel about like how I'm so glad you're back, blah blah blah. You know, you're going to be the greatest hero of all time. And she realizes she can hear what's going on, so she goes into the seminar. So she's able to figure it out. So they go over there, right? So then we have Emma and Sam land in the square, where apparently Sam is now given a pledge, who is a pledge that had to come out of some guy's butt. No, I'm not lying. Who then became the pledge of Sam's, and Sam didn't want him, but he doesn't get a choice because he's a brother, and he needs to have a pledge. So Sam then meets up with, I cannot remember his name now. I think it's Greg, who apparently can fly, which is interesting. So they begin to split up to figure out where they're going to go. They were going to meet back at the common area, aka I believe it's like the food court-ish area, and that's kind of their game plan, right? So Jordan is with Annabeth, who has a vision, and Jordan's basically like, you need to tell me what you see. What she describes is enough for Jordan to go, oh, that's the seminar. I know where to go. So while they're running over there, um, Greg, I'm going to call him Greg, comes down and tells them where they need to go. We also have a heart to heart between Emma and Sam, and basically it's Sam admitting that he's jealous and that he doesn't quite know how to deal with his feelings, and that he needs to take the time for himself to really understand his feelings and make sure he doesn't lash out like he's done in the past, which I thought was very adult of him, which I have to say I'm very proud of him for. So they all begin to go towards the seminar. Guess what? Everyone shows up at the seminar at the same time. So Marie's basically telling them all to leave, that she doesn't want them to get hurt, and that if anything were to happen bad, it's because they've shown up. However, nobody's listening. So she decided to use her powers to lift everyone up and basically make sure that they can't go. She then tells Kate that she'll heal her if she manipulates them to leave the area immediately. However, Kate refuses. Kate basically states that I made a promise that I was not going to manipulate any of you, and I'm going to stick with it, even if that means not getting fixed, which I thought was kind of cool. So she drops them and they run inside. So Polaris, um, so Kate stays with the group for a little bit, just to kind of stay behind, and Polaris and Marie go. They go inside, and there's none other than Cypher. She, however, goes underground because she felt um, a presence down below. So she goes underground, he stays above. So he begins to fight Cypher using his abilities without an issue and starts beating Cypher up a little bit. However, the students come, and when that happens, he begins to bounce his mind from one person to the next and attacking Polaris. And Polaris is getting hit worse than a pinball, let me tell you. He's getting smacked around by everyone. However, he's also knocking them back as well. So one of the big things here is all the heavy hitters are there. So Jordan, we have Greg, I'm going to say Sam, and I believe that's it. Yeah, because Marie is going down, and so Kate and Emma and Annabeth all go down as well. So Marie finds the body, and she begins to bring him back to life, which is very interesting. So, granted, he's obviously not dead. I want to make that very clear. He's not dead. However, she is healing him. So she begins to heal him. Nobody else is bleeding, by the way. And Polaris uses his powers to eliminate Cypher from all the other people in the area. Part of that problem is, though, Cypher apparently is no longer Cypher. Apparently, Godolkin is the guy that's in the old guy who was burnt up to a crisp, who is kind of what we were thinking to begin with. However, now that he's all healed, he leaves Cypher's body right where it is, who is not Cypher. I think his name is like Bill or something like that. No, Doug. Sorry, Doug. And so Doug is basically trying to plead for his life because he's finally free and wants to live. And because of that, his ribs are already broken because Polaris broke the ribs with the weights smashing into his side. So he's basically trying to beg for his life, and he's getting ready to kill the guy, and then he realizes that this guy can't be him. So Kate tells Marie that they need to get out of there immediately because that's Cypher, realizing that Godolkin was in charge of everything all along. So they all run away. Godolkin gets up, begins to walk the campus. We find the pledge, who was the one that crawled out of another guy's butt. He basically asks him what his power is. He explains what it is, and then proceeds to have him wrap the chain around his neck, pull until he dies. Um, find that very interesting because he's now deciding that he's going to eliminate all of the soups who are not deemed to be worthy. He wants only the elite of the elites, which shouldn't be all that shocking because he is a Nazi. So he's very big on eugenics and wanting only the best of the best. And apparently that's how the episode ends. So we know next episode is going to be Godolkin thinning the herd, which is his phrasing, unfortunately. His whole idea is he's going to be going through campus to figure out who is worthy enough to be alive, and he'll make sure that they stay or not, or fight to see who is more important than the other. My apologies. So that's kind of where the season finale is going to be. So we're going to be seeing a huge conflict between the main characters of Gen V versus Godolphin. So I'll be very curious to see what happens there. But let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comments below. Did you like it? Did you not? And why? And as always, if you like the content you see, please make sure to like and subscribe down below. Other than that, this is going to be Beastly Eel signing out. Have a wonderful night. Bye bye.